All right, let's jump right into this. I came across a really fascinating study that explores a simple but pretty powerful question. How do you take something as local as agriculture, things grown in the ground, and turn it into a global attraction? This is about more than just farming. It's about creating real value, building community, and sparking sustainable growth. And it all comes from research in a province in Thailand. So let's start with that big question. How do you turn a fruit into a destination? I know, it sounds a little abstract, right? But it's actually the core challenge here. We're talking about taking a raw agricultural product and building an entire experience around it, an experience that people will actually travel for, pay for, and remember for years to come.
To really get how this all works, we've got to zoom in a bit. So let's set the scene and look at a specific place where this whole idea is being put to the test, a province just brimming with incredible potential.
The key concept we're dealing with here is called agri-tourism. And, well, it's pretty much what it sounds like, a mix of agriculture and tourism. The big idea is to turn these working farms into destinations, places where visitors can get a real taste of rural life and see exactly where their food comes from. It's about participation, not just watching from a distance.
So, the place we're talking about is Nakhon Nayok Province in Thailand. The researchers zeroed in on this spot because it's just full of different agricultural products and cool attractions. The potential for growth there is massive. But as they found out, just having potential isn't nearly enough. And that brings us right to the heart of the problem, the main hurdle standing in the way of all that potential. It's what the research calls a hidden knowledge gap.
This slide lays out the problem so clearly. On one side, you have the current reality. Farmers are basically just producers of raw materials, and their land is just, agricultural space. But look at the other side, the potential. They could be entrepreneurs. Their farms could be these amazing experience-based destinations. That massive gap between the two, that's the challenge.
So what's holding them back? The study points to some really specific things. And it's not just one issue, it's this whole tangle of challenges. We're talking a lack of know-how in technical production, not enough marketing skills, and a real struggle to use modern tech. On top of that, production costs are high, and all of this means that very few of their products can meet the kind of quality standards needed to really compete.
Okay, so we've got the problem. But here's the good news. For every problem, there's a solution. And in this story, the key to unlocking all of that trapped value and incredible potential is knowledge.
The tool to make this happen is called knowledge management, or KM for short. Think of it as a strategic game plan for how a community can create, share, save, and, most importantly, apply its collective knowledge. It's about taking what people already know and turning it into a genuine competitive edge. I love this way of thinking about it. Picture all of a community's knowledge as a library. Some of it is in the books on the shelves, written down, easy to find. But so much of it is just known. It's in the heads of the librarians and the people who visit all the time. It's the stories, the skills, the unwritten rules. Knowledge management is the system that makes sure all of that info, both on and off the shelves, gets shared and used to write totally new chapters for the community.
And this breaks down those two types of knowledge perfectly. On one hand, you have tacit knowledge. This is the stuff you just know. It's the experience, the skills, the wisdom that's kind of embedded in people. It's the know-how. Then you have explicit knowledge. This is the stuff you can write down, the documents, the databases, the processes, the know what. And here's the kicker. You absolutely need both. You can't run a farm on tradition alone, but a textbook can never replace a lifetime of experience.
Okay, so that all sounds great, but how do you actually do it? Well, the researchers laid out a really practical, 4-step cycle to put knowledge management right into action. And here it is. This is the engine that drives the whole transformation. It's a continuous loop, see? It's designed to take that local wisdom we were just talking about and turn it into real, sustainable value. So let's walk through the 4 parts.
First step is acquisition, actively going out and finding new knowledge both from inside the community and from outside experts. Second, storage. You've got to save that knowledge in a systematic way so it doesn't get lost when someone leaves. Third, distribution. Sharing what you know through collaboration, talking with each other, mentoring. And finally, and this is the most important step, use. You have to actually apply that knowledge to create real-world change.
And here's a crucial insight from the study. It was about the type of knowledge they needed to get. It wasn't just about growing better fruit. To really become entrepreneurs, this community needed skills in marketing, in management, and in finance. That's the knowledge that truly bridges the gap we saw earlier.
So what happens when you get this cycle spinning? The results are powerful. You see this fundamental shift, this amazing transformation from farmer to entrepreneur.
This quote from the study just nails it. Knowledge isn't about sitting through a training session or having a binder on a shelf. It has to be translated into real-world practice to actually change people's lives in their local economy. It has to be active. And this is what that action looks like. This is the transformation on the ground. Farmers start using that new knowledge to improve their crops and use fewer chemicals. They use technology to develop new things like processed products. They start branding and selling online. And they learn how to manage their costs to build something that's really sustainable. Every one of these is a direct result of that knowledge cycle.
And that brings us to the final thought here. This story isn't just about one province in Thailand. It's a blueprint that could be applied anywhere. So it leaves us with a really important question to think about. What untapped knowledge exists in your community, right where you are? And what could it become if it were truly shared and put to use?